highly recommend for anyone who wants to be a nomad to get a freelance job, and you can do it. Let me explain how. Hey everyone, my name is Nicholas Dembski from the Single Dad Nomad, and I get a lot of questions about how does a single dad get to travel the world. We spent a few months in Barcelona this year, a few months back in the United States, we spent a few more months in Mexico, and now we're down here in Medellin, Colombia. So how do I do this when I have a 6-year-old daughter? And that's what I'm going to talk about today. So I think the most important thing is that you have to know exactly what you want to do. Do you want to be a nomad, or do you want to stay home and have your house and do your job and be a part of that routine? That's fine. Go do that if that's what you want to do. You don't have to, change the country you're in every 3 months like I do. Now, I get a lot of joy out of that. I get a lot of pleasure out of finding new places and encountering new experiences and learning new languages, things like that. Obviously, yo hablo un poco de español porque yo he vivido en Barcelona y México y Colombia y he pasado tiempo en Nicaragua y Costa Rica también. Entonces, if you want to learn Spanish, you have to go to Spanish-speaking countries. Now, there are some other ways to do that. I recommend Babbel is really good. Duolingo is a free one. I'll link to both of those down below. Like I said, the language is something that I really enjoy. But you might find something else. You might have another reason to nomad. You might have another reason that you might want to go explore the world with your family. Okay, I don't know what those reasons are. I'm not going to presuppose them on you. What I will just say is that if you want to live this nomad life, there are a few ways to do it, but you have to be able to make money. Now, I started off as a teacher. I was teaching in Hong Kong as a math teacher and an English teacher. It was fine, it made pretty good money. It was a good job, I think, especially compared to what the teachers have to do in the United States. But I really wanted to get into freelancing. I wanted to work for myself. I didn't like having a boss stare over my shoulder, I didn't like having to clock in for the 9 to 5, but I also don't want to disillusion you and make you think that you're not going to be in a 9 to 5 when you're freelancing. Instead, it just becomes a midnight to midnight because your clients can call you at any time. You have to work maybe in the middle of the night if someone sends you a project they need tomorrow, etc. So it's not going to make your life necessarily better in a schedule stance, but I much prefer that. I like having control over when I work. I don't want to clock in the morning, clock out at night. I like to work from home, obviously, because I'm a single dad. I spend time with my daughter. I just would highly recommend for anyone who wants to be a nomad to get a freelance job, and you can do it. Let me explain how. Number one, you need to build up your social proof. Okay, now how did I do this with my freelance job? I got onto Upwork.com. Now I know there are a lot of people who hate Upwork.com. They say, oh, it's just a bidding website, so you put in your price and someone then puts in a lower price, and the client always takes the person with the lower price. That is total crap. That's not real at all, okay? Now, you do have to get onto the bidding wars early on. So if you first started, for example, you don't have any social proof on that site. You have a profile maybe, but there's nobody who's worked with you who puts down the testimonials that says, this is how this person works, this is how good they are, they're timely, they're creative, they communicate, etc. Nobody knows you on that platform. You might be the best writer in the world, but if people don't know you on that platform, they don't care. Okay, so if you want to get on Upwork and you want to be successful and you want to be a top-rated freelancer like I am with a 98% customer satisfaction score and continuous long-term well-paying clients, well, then you have to do what I did. Now, what did I do? I started off, again, with no social proof on the site. So my first project, I literally wrote an entire book for $10. Okay, now that might seem ridiculous, and even now it seems ridiculous to me because I was working for fractions of a pennies on the dollar at that point, but it built up my social proof. I got my first 5-star rating on there, which allowed me to apply for another job, which got me another 5-star rating. It still didn't pay well, but allowed me to apply for another job, which still didn't pay well, but it got me another 5-star rating, and after a few of those, it builds up, and then by the time you have a lot of 5-star ratings, you can raise your prices, and people will come to your page and see, oh, well, this person has all these satisfied clients, Now I'm going to go work with that person because everyone else on this website says they're awesome to work with. And I'm going to tell you that clients care a lot more about the quality that they're going to get from freelancers on the sites than they care about the price they're going to get from them. Now, that's not every client. Many clients on there are just looking for the best price. But the thing is, you don't have to apply for those jobs. Apply for the jobs that pay the best because those are going to be the best people to work for. Now, again, it takes a long time to get up to that point. You have to be able to build a social proof on that site. You have to have your name out there. You have to have the stats and the data that shows you're easy to work with on Upwork in order to get the clients that pay well there. Now, there are, of course, other websites you could go to that kind of do the same thing. They have the freelance platform like this, like peopleperhour.com, Fiverr.com. They do a lot of kind of the same things. So I'm sure that the system is quite similar there. But the point is, you have to work for it. It might take a year, it might take 2 years before you actually get that social proof and you start getting the clients that are going to give you top dollar for your work. So you just have to stick with it. If you really want the nomad life, you got to start today. You got to work on building your freelance client base. Upwork and other sites like that is just one way to do it. LinkedIn is a great way to build your name. Just having a website and being able to create your own blog and your own content, people can find you that way. So there's a lot of different ways to get freelance work. If you want this, if you want to live the nomad life, then you have to start now. I started freelancing in 2016, and I didn't really feel comfortable with my income until the end of last year, 2018. So it literally took me about 2 years of freelancing, working for crap money, until I finally made it to the point where I was making enough money to feel comfortable and to talk to you about how to get into the nomad life with freelancing. So if you guys really want to get into this nomad life with freelancing, please subscribe, hit the bell with notifications, smash that like button, and leave me a comment with more questions about this stuff, because I really want to help you guys, but I need to know more about the questions that you have. So hit me up and I will see you next time. Peace!